Greetings,
Good strong, Nitro RC enthusiasts. This is nothing more than your friendly update regarding Project Hyperfresh. You can see here, the Maxstar 28 is refurbished and ready to get stupid. We are ahead of schedule and very close to getting
Or those of you who I know, and those who live nearby, you already know what is about to kick off. Yes, it is event time, and for our viewers we don't represent that Hyper 7 like.
So what you are looking at are a few of the engines assigned to my Hyper 7. I've learned over the years that specific engines pair up better with specific vehicles. These are some of the engines that make my Hyper 7
slap.
So, this would be of course, that Works P5, that Roma, the notorious P5, and of course, that silly, make you wanna slap your mommy, Wacky Whack, OS 25XZ. Oh, hell no, no he didn't. Of course, at the crux of this project is that Maxstar .28 engine. Right now you can find them on sale for only $85. We fitted to show them off how you can get even an $85 engine. Steady popping. Yeah.
That part.
But to hell with all that, this unboxing type shit. You better ask somebody. This part too, you know.
Let's roll.
Alrighty. As noted, this is part 2 of the absolutely worst unboxing you've ever seen. Everything revolves around the Hyper 7 at this point. I am ass deep into this project. You can see it's starting to look a little bit more like a Hyper 7. I'm going through doing some of the ancillary updates to it. I'd say at this point, I maybe get an hour a day. I'd say probably need another maybe 4 hours on it. And then we get it. A few moments ago, you did see some of the engines that we certainly get busy with on this Hyper 7, so I'm making sure those are ready to go. And you don't want to know the pipes that I'm going to be running on this. Right now it's really just, getting the clutch set up and everything, but I promise you're going to see all the behind shit, because what will happen is you're going to see this little $85 engine with 15 plus gallons on it getting busy, and everybody's going to be like,
How did you do that?
And as to give you some insight there, in case you missed it, notice how much time has been spent on the vehicle as a whole and not just the engine. But anyway, on to part 2. Next up is something a big need, and these are these O-rings for the diff housing of the Hyper 7. I would have to say that I have busted probably at least 30 of these. So it's something that I definitely need. They're a pain in the ass, but yeah, if you don't have them on your diffs are gonna leak. That's just the facts. It's just the design, so I need them. Next are the plastic parts for the 12mm Hyper 7 shocks, and this is because I'll use aftermarket shock springs on those shocks. As an example, the Losi 810 shock springs, I'll use those. Challenge, however, is that the Losi 810 shocks are threaded, and Hyper 7 ones are not. Consequently, due to the length of the springs, I have to use quite a bit more plastic pieces, and blah blah blah, preload clips, whatever you want to call them. So,
I need them.
Now the next item is definitely not a need. It was an impulse buy, and it was kind of me spoiling myself, but it's something that I'd wanted, and I really think it's the only Hyper 7 part that I did not have, and that is the PCR shock tower. PCR shock tower. PCR shock tower. You see, this is interesting because the PCR version I have is kind of a special / limited edition one. And it came with a few shock towers, but not the PCR one. It came with the Pro, it came with the PDS, but this was the one shock tower that I still had not owned. In fact, I'm still trying to get my pulse on whether or not this came out with the PCR version as well. I'm going to contact Paul Coleman, who is one of my mentors, one of the biggest influences in this hobby for me. See, obviously he's going to know, but perhaps this was really an upgrade. I'm not sure. It is a little bit different. It should be lighter because I can see there's areas that are cut out versus the other shock towers, right? I think I have before. I have every other type, save for this one.
Which I have now.
And like I said, Paul Coleman is someone I know outside of RC. I've known him since the 80s. I'll hook up with him and see what the deal is. And so, I'm going to represent that. And consequently, it's something that I will rock during this refresh.
They said, really?
Rock that shit.
Please, just go ask somebody.
Better ask somebody.
Go ask somebody.
Better ask somebody. You better ask somebody.
Alright, so to give you just a quick example of why it is I do a refresh to begin with, there are certain things I'm looking for. Now, there are some things that you really just can't ascertain until you've put the buggy together. And that's when I'll normally go through the front, the center, and the rear, piece by piece. Here's something that I found. I've had the other very whenever. That's just it. That's what I'm saying. You know, when you have these other guys that are out there cheesing in front of the camera, trying to get likes, subs, all that old bullshit. I'm here just
Putting it down for you.
This is a problem. This is a problem. Pretty good shot. This is not loose. That's where it is. Right here, this thing. It should fall free. But it doesn't. And at the same time, it's a balancing act. Whatever you are talking about is the outer hinge pin here, okay? Oh, and if I forget to tell you, remember, it's all about durability. Certainly in my mind, this entire hobby. Alright, first is get to point A to point B as quickly as possible, but to do that, the vehicle has to keep intact. It's all about durability. So if for some reason tomorrow I get hit by the proverbial bus, I would like people, when they ask, who is that Nitro Scener guy? To say, oh yeah, that was that cat who was into durability. It's key. Durability. It's key. And all I've done there is scratch the surface. So here you go. This is guaranteed to get you 35% more power from your engine. At least in my process. I don't want you to believe, I want you to see.
This is something we do.
So, we press on as we transition into the phases that personally are my favorite, and that is the fine-tuning, the clutch selection, final setups. That fun stuff. Yeah, I know. Additionally, I think I've done a pretty good job of picking up my camera and rolling film each time I finish a little section of it, so we have everything recorded, right? This way you see how the sausage is made, and that's the intent. These are the videos I'll be dropping here pretty soon, once I get everything, smash mode. And as I noted at the very beginning of this series, once I get this ready to run engine with over 15 gallons and all these little issues that I, reconditioned, depending on the amount of footage that I drop, these things will begin selling like hotcakes. But those who pay attention will realize the only thing special about this engine is the fact that I picked it.